Edward is one of the oldest engines on the island of Sodor. He first arrived to help build the Northwestern Railway under Sir Topham Hatt I, and now, many years later, he was assisting in Sir Stephen Topham Hatt's railway restoration scheme. Old track work needed to be replaced, new ballast needed to be laid, and these coaches need to go. All they're doing is cluttering up the yard and taking up space. Hey, for an engine named Rosie, you didn't seem so rosy. Well, just look at these things, Donald. They're not so easy on the eyes. Then stop looking at them. How can I? They're such an eyesore. The sight of those decrepit coaches doesn't bother you? No, but the sight of ye is starting to bother me. Excuse me? I'm a fine sight. Listen, Rosie, I have to look at the chalk every day on Duck's branch line. In a fashion taking a gander at a tomboy, too. Tomboy? What do you mean, tomboy? I'm pink, for Godred's sake. Settle down, you two. Rosie, I've brought my china clay oh my. What on Sodor happened to these coaches? Frankly, not much. They've been sitting here for years. But these coaches are newer than the ones we use on my branch line. Surely my old dears can't be in better shape than these. Well, Edward, I'm 30-some years older than Rosie, and my curves are much better than her corners. You know, Donald, one day you're going to get biffed up the back end for your slander. Hey, Eddie! Take that line of junk to Croc's scrapyard, will you? It's on your branch line, so you might as well save me the extra trip. But she isn't very rosy, is she? Nope. Edward ran to the front of the coaches and gently buffered up. As the fireman went to couple Edward to the train, he noticed something. Yeah, crumbs. This one's missing a buffer. This is going to be an interesting journey now, isn't it? Edward was coupled up and, very carefully, he pulled the rusty coaches out of the harbor yard and onto the open line. These ballast hoppers are meant for Vickerstown. This is a harbor, not a goods yard. Get these things out of my way. I'll be late arranging Murdoch's train thanks to you. Hey, I'm going. Gotta biff her up the back end. On his way to the scrapyard, Edward first had to pass through the big station. Because of the constant hustle and bustle, speed restrictions were in place in and around the station. Fortunately, the scrap coaches followed along rather easily at the reduced speed, but the faster pace of the main line would soon prove troublesome to both Edward and the coaches. All right, old boy, let's turn up the heat. Edward picked up speed as he entered the tunnel and passed through Thomas's Junction. Can you smell a smell? I can't smell a smell. A funny, musty sort of smell. No, not a musty smell. More like a burning smell. A burning smell? Oh dear! Oh, where's the fire? Not that kind of burning, Clarabelle. I think Edward's just running a hot axle box. Oh, right! Yes, Edward! Thomas can smell your box! And it smells hot! Oh my! Thank you! You're welcome! This is not what I meant when I said, turn up the heat. As Edward's driver went to notify the signalman, the fireman ran around the train and quickly found the troublesome axle box. I found the culprit. On the same coach that's missing a buffer. I might have known. Perhaps we should take it slowly from here on out. We don't want to risk a coach falling apart before we get to the scrapyard. Good thinking, old boy. Edward set off again, this time at a slower pace. As he passed through the next station, Edward felt his wheels veer to the left, and he found himself shunted into the sidings. Well, would you look at that? Seems as though even we're too slow for the slow goods. We'll be late to the junction at this rate. Never mind being late. I just hope we manage to get these coaches to the scrapyard in one piece. Well, unless we want to miss our path at the junction, we'd better make some progress. But the journey was to progress no further. Edward began to reverse out of the siding when... Edward! Your rear coach has derailed on the points! Oh, bother! Thank you, Ryan. You're welcome! I did say this was going to be an interesting journey, and it was about to become even more interesting. Okay! Look out! Oh, Clattering Carriages. I told you you'd get biffed up the back end for your slander. Well, unfortunately for you, Rosie, I was the one doing the biffing. And had I biffed up your back end instead of Edward's, maybe it'd be a bit more rosy. Oh, really? Well, let me tell you, you ugly black... That's quite enough, you two. It was the fat controller, who had come to survey the damage. Well, Donald, it's a blessing those coaches were devoid of passengers, but you'll need to head straight to the works to have your front mended. Yes, sir. Rosie will handle your work while you're away. What? Me, sir? But what about No buts, Rosie. You can do Donald's work as well as your own. Perhaps it will teach you to be a bit more Rosie. Do I make myself clear? Yes, sir. Ah, that's a good engine. Now, Edward, please take the remainder of Donald's hoppers to the end of the line. Yes, sir. And Rosie, once you return the breakdown train to the harbor, it's off to Duck's branch line with you. But, sir... Rosie? Yes, sir. Right away, sir. Thank you, Rosie. Yes, thank you, Rosie. Stow it, Donald. She isn't very rosy, is she? Nope. Nope, she is not.